Cumiento and Camilo Sanvezo are from local Major League team Vancouver Whitecaps.
Well, the team now is almost 40 years old. We were founded in 1974, and we've just this season gone back into Major League Soccer for the first time.
On the pitch, these two are masters with the ball.
Rolling on two.
But bringing these skills to a capture studio is a very different experience. So the mocap team replicates a football environment. Computer graphics supervisor Ryan Hyper referees today's play.
The turf really gives us that realistic floor contact with the feet. So if I'm running on grass, my impact's going to be very different from if I'm running on styrofoam or concrete, or even plywood for that matter.
Perfect, perfect.
That just gives you that realistic feeling, not just from the feet, but it translates up into the rest of the body as well.
But there's one exception to this reality. Their gear. This is not their usual kit.
É muito diferente. Para jogarmos, jogamos normal, com short, camiseta.
These skin-tight costumes serve a purpose. They allow Ryan to attach reflective markers at key points.
We kind of have a standard number that we put on the talent.
How many markers do we have? 60. 60?
And those markers are positioned in key areas to get joint rotations.
The markers are detected by cameras surrounding the pitch, but they don't snap your average picture.
Basically, the red light bounces off of the reflective marker, and the cameras eliminate everything else but the red light, so that each camera is only seeing the marker rather than the background and environment.
It's like a 3D X-ray.
We've got 118 motion capture cameras, and those basically capture the talent's realistic motion, and then we push that data through, connect all the dots, and put it on a skeleton that then drives the character in the game.
Once the players are suited and booted,
I want you to put real pressure on me, as if it's a game.
Ryan hands over to Santiago and Aaron.
And once we've done 4 or 5 seconds, Santi's going to say go, and then what we want you to do is turn, face him up, do a move, and fire as hard as you can.
It's time to put some play in the game.
4 or 5 seconds.
The actions you see on the screen are fed by attributes and assets. It's a database of information on players and their skills. The producers capture this information according to the gameplay. But it's not a one-take-fits-all scenario.
Too many fast touches.
The player impact engine needs lots of close contact. But for the second of the team's trinity, precision dribbling, Santiago and Aaron need to capture a different set of skills.
If we're talking about precision dribbling, this movement of the ball closely, that could be interpreted 100 different ways, whether a person knows football or not. It could be, as we saw when we were doing it earlier, Davide was taking very quick touches, which is great, and footballers do that, but for what we had envisioned for the feature, it's not exactly what we needed.
Dribbling is a strategy often used by the attacking team to keep possession of the ball. A skillful human tactic that's almost impossible to recreate perfectly in the virtual arena. It exists in FIFA 11, but its scope is limited. Santiago stepped up to the challenge.
What I wanted to do this year was create a system that would allow you to have very responsive dribbling and keep possession in those situations and really open up those areas of the field to enjoy the game even more. So with our engineers, we worked in that feature with new animations and new responsiveness in the controls.
The new dribbling feature enhances this skill, adding precise ball control in tight situations, and even while fighting off an opponent. Taking this complex skill to the game is no easy task. To make sure they have every angle covered, Santiago and Aaron translate every real move into a virtual replay.
Elastico, yes.
One of the game mechanic that we have is difficult if we have too many quick touches like that, just because we're trying to replicate all of that.
And for us to be able to communicate that to one of our animators, just using text or speaking them one-to-one, it's not always enough for us to sit there and speak with them to get the full message across. So it's important we're still involved all the way through to make sure that vision is passed down to everybody who's going to touch the game for the year. Maybe take it laterally, yeah, move sideways.
Authenticity matters. These producers have an expert fan base to please. Over 5 million games of EA FIFA are played across the internet every single day. And the experience just got a whole lot better.
The most exciting part in FIFA 12 is definitely the introduction of the EA Sports Football Club. It's a new live service that we're introducing into the game.
It's like football Facebook, where players not only compete with online opponents, but they interact with their teams, keep track of their lineup and gameplay, and measure their play progression. And the team at EA also feed real football scenarios into the online arena, challenging gamers to replicate the skills or try to change the outcome of a match.
We joke that we could probably supply Alex Ferguson a report every Friday to say the 500 million games of Man United versus Chelsea that were played this week online, the most successful lineup against Chelsea with this lineup.
And in the unlikely event that all your friends go offline, you have another opponent, the game itself.
So when you're playing just by yourself at home offline, typically when you're playing career mode, then you're constantly playing against a CPU opponent.
The CPU, or Central Processing Unit, is a form of artificial intelligence that allows the game to become both your teammates and your opponents.
When you're playing the game, most of the time you're controlling just one player with a pad. Every other player is being controlled by the AI.
It's driven by yet another FIFA 12 innovation called Pro Player Intelligence.
And with Pro Player Intelligence is that level of decision making that we really didn't have before. All the football stars that excel in specific areas of the game, whether it's vision or shooting, or for example Peter Crouch, someone that's really good at just winning headers because of his height. Then that comes into play with the decision making of the teammates and the player himself, so that it's much more authentic.
Back in mocap, Santiago and Era are not the only ones getting in on the action. On the other side of the pitch, another EA producer is paying close attention to Davide and Camilo's game. Gary Patterson heads a spin-off of EA FIFA called FIFA Street. This year, his game is going through a rebirth of its own.
The first challenge for us was defining what street football was. We sent a research company to Rio, to Amsterdam and to London to research into street football, and they came back with 3 different versions of what they considered to be street football. They described it in Rio as almost more about dancing, you know, they're like moving like this, they're hardly touching the ball, they're dancing. In London, it's more about physical and pushing people into the wall, and in Amsterdam it's more about the ball, it's more about moving the ball and doing skill moves with the ball.
Street football has evolved from a neighborhood kick-around to a global phenomenon. Davide and Camilo are the perfect avatars for this unique style of play.
Those are really skillful players from the Whitecaps there, and street football is more about the one-on-one. It's almost more about showboating than it is about scoring.
Nice, yes.
Just like its big brother, FIFA Street prides itself on realism. But in this game, it's not just celebrity players that rule. The environment counts.
I qualified from Scotland, I'll play in the UK, and then these are kind of generic environments as well, but we'll make them look like the UK. And then once you've qualified from the UK, you're into Europe. Now we can be more specific. Paris, Venice, Barcelona, London. You're trying to become the best street football team in the world, and you're playing in world cities, Amsterdam, Dubai, and Tokyo. This is Rio, the final tournament. I don't think any other game we've built has made this many environments.
Back in mocap, the players have another appointment.
Oh, he looks better in the game.
To become a true virtual superstar, Vancouver Whitecap players Davide and Camilo don't just have to play the part, they also need to look the part.